Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Shining Brighter. My name is Nick, and today's topic is setting boundaries. Before I get started, please, if you would, comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can get notified when new videos come out. So let's get into it. Um, I've talked a lot on the channel so far about the things necessary for relationships and, knowing your value, your worth, and respecting yourself. And I've mentioned boundaries before, but I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about specific boundaries and explain, that you might even be setting boundaries that you're not even aware that you're doing, um, and what the boundaries mean to you. So for everybody, those boundaries are going to be different because we're not all the same people. Um, in a nutshell, what boundaries are basically ground rules for people to know what you will and will not accept for them to be around you or to be in your energy. Um, I think it's a good place to start to talk about boundaries in a romantic relationship. Um, and, then we can discuss others. For me personally, every single relationship, romantic or otherwise, starts with respect. Like I said in the very first video, respect is the basis for every relationship you should have because without it, nobody's going to accept or abide by any of the other boundaries you set. Because why would they if they don't respect you? They would have no reason. Um, you know, respect, again, has different levels for different people. For me, in a romantic relationship, respect is the understanding that I am not an option. I am the choice, the only choice, or I'm not at all. And if I'm not at all, then I'm gone. There's nothing else to it. Um, and you have to be very upfront with your boundaries and you have to be firm. And you have to realize when people try to push the boundaries or test the limits, see what they can get away with, see what you're really serious about. So for me, um, I'm very upfront if I believe that I'm heading down a path with somebody that could wind up as a romantic relationship. The very first thing I will let them know is, hey, look, I am interested, but it's me and that's it, nobody else, or I'm just not going to be here. And there's nothing wrong with setting boundaries. There's nothing wrong with holding people to those boundaries because by doing so, that's how you maintain respect, the respect you deserve and the respect the other person deserves. Another boundary that I have is, you know, don't humiliate me by flirting with other people if you're with me. Um, some people say, oh, it's just harmless. That person, they're not interested in me like that. Or, it's just a little flirting or anything like that. Nope. Sorry. Unacceptable. If that's what you want to do, then you do not want to be in a committed monogamous relationship. And that's fine. It's just not fine with me. Okay. Um, Now, there are people who don't believe in monogamy. And if that works for them, that's fine. I'm not judging anybody. Everybody has free will. Everybody makes their own decisions and everybody decides what they're comfortable with. I'm specifically speaking of my own boundaries, what I expect from a person. Um, the next thing that I want is equal give and take. Okay. If I'm doing for you and I'm expressing my love for you and I'm showing you affection, and if I'm doing, if you live together with a person, if I'm doing my share of taking care of house bills, taking care of my partner when they're ill, etc., I expect the same in return. And if I'm not getting it, that's a problem. Okay. Um, you can't give more than you receive, and you can't expect to get more than you give either. Everything in relationships has to be reciprocal for it to be functional and for it to be right and for both parties to feel like, you know, they're getting what they're giving. Um, nobody should just give and nobody should just take. That's a failure as far as I'm concerned. Um, Another boundary that I have is, you know, I myself, I'm not a drinker. I'll have a drink occasionally, but I don't go out to get drunk or anything like that. And, if somebody wants to be with me, you know, and they want to go out and have a good time, that's fine, but be responsible, and if you're out with your friends or whatever, keep in touch with me, let me know you're safe. Um, and if you need a ride, call me, I'll come get you. Because, a lot of people would look at that as an aspect of control, but it's not in the least. It's a mad, it's just showing you that I care, yeah, you want to go out and have a good time, okay, but you can't leave me at home, not letting me know where you are, not letting me know if you're okay, and not letting me know, if you need a ride, and me just sitting there, at home, concerned the whole time. Okay. Um, Quite honestly, that's unacceptable too. Um, I would encourage my partner, if they have friends they want to go out with, go out and have a good time. I don't expect um, that you're never going to have friends again just because you're with me. That's just ridiculous. Okay. Because I have my group of friends, and same thing. I would want to hang out with them from time to time too, but I'd let you know where I'm going, who I'm hanging out with, what time I plan to be home, and touch base with you, if I'm out long. Um, and you know, all too often these days, it seems like people don't want to have to honor people's boundaries. They just want what they want, and they want to do what they want, and just expect their person to be there for them. Um, and that's not right. I mean, what kind of relationship is that? You're just showing the person you don't care about them. You're showing them that they're not important to you, that you don't matter, and you're going to make that person feel like all they are is, you know, um, a secure base for you to stay at, so you can go out and do whatever you want. Not happening with me. I'm sorry. Um, as far as business relationships, again, respect is the basis. If the person you're dealing with doesn't respect you, nothing's going to go in your favor. You're not going to be treated properly. You won't get promoted. You won't get any accolades for rightful accolades for the work you do. And they'll just walk all over you and dump work on you, and that's how you'll get treated. Um, Along with having to maintain the boundaries of respect, um, you know, they also have to understand that you are just as valuable as anybody else. Just because your job title is different doesn't mean that you're not making a solid contribution. And again, that's if you're, doing your job, doing it well. Um, you know, why shouldn't you get recognized just because your job title might be a different or lower title than somebody else? Um, you know, Another boundary that you need to set is how people speak to you. You know, I don't care if somebody's your boss, if they're the director of the FBI, or if they're your manager at McDonald's, or whatever the case may be. They have zero right to talk to you in a disrespectful tone. Unless you're doing something that warrants um, a different type of behavior, you need to put your foot down and say, look, I will not accept you speaking to me in this tone. I work hard, I do my part, I'm just as good as everybody else here, and I always treat you with respect, so I expect and demand the same in return. And you might get nervous to say that to somebody, but I promise you that person will respect you more afterwards. It's the people that don't speak up for themselves, don't set their boundaries, don't put their foot down. Those are the people that get taken advantage of. Don't be one of those people. Know your value, know your worth, respect yourself, and make sure everybody else respects you and sees you, and make sure they know your value and your worth. Because if you're dealing with somebody, whether romantic, business, friend, family member, it doesn't matter, you have a right to be respected, unless you're giving them reasons not to respect you and you know you're doing it. But if you're a good person and you treat people with respect and you do your best to take care of them and do the right thing, that's what you should be getting in return. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise, put you down, talk down to you, disrespect you, or treat you any way, especially not in front of other people, whether it be friends, family, coworkers, whatever the case. So that's, a brief summary on setting boundaries. And setting the boundaries is not hard. You just tell people, look, I don't like the way this is going. I'm telling you now, these are my boundaries. You need to respect them. You need to abide by them. If you don't, then you're gone. You're out of my energy. I don't need you here. If they're not there for your greater good or to bring something positive to your life, why do you let them be around? Think better of yourselves, okay? And like I always say, know your value, know your worth, respect yourselves. I see you all for who you really are, and I love you for it. Until next time, guys, take care.